that here in Brighton, we are on the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of Alderville, and we are striving to become, as Darren said in his story, to become friends with better friends with the people at Alderville and to learn their stories. And I'm sure that there are many people who are joining this call who are on this territory as well, but there would be a wide variety of nations represented, I believe. So the next part I was going to do is, how will your church organize friendly visiting? So I'm going to let you know, this evening started out as a Trinity St. Andrews event. And so I'm going to tell you what we in an ideal world are doing here, and we did it for a little while. But we have a team, a pastoral care team, which is kind of one or two people really, but we did have a team, but right now it's one person who was doing a lot of the phone calling. But we recruit visitors and we recruit people to be visited. We call them, Sonia was calling people for the past few days to say, would you like a visit? And then afterwards, we'll be matching people with the people who have determined that, yeah, I think this is for me. I'd really like to be a visitor. So the visitors themselves need to have a vulnerable sector criminal record check. Everybody needs to have that, and it's very easy to do in our area. It can be done online through the OPP, and you get a letter from your church saying what you're doing. It's very easy. If I know at least one person is here from Durham region, I don't know what the Durham Regional Police Services is doing these days, but when I lived there, it wasn't as easy as the OPP is here. So find out from your local police provider, your local police services, what it is that they need. But you could get them, like ours are literally within hours, we get them. Don't assume that your visit will be in person, and make the person feel really comfortable with the option of a phone visit. And you know, don't offer it as or we could do this, like present it as something that's a really valuable thing to do. Here in our church, we're starting a new practice of a monthly tea for shut-ins. And so we're hoping the friendly visitors will go and pick up the person they've been visiting, bring them here. We can all hang out for an afternoon with china teacups and goodies and enjoy some company together. And it's different people in our church who are involved in that tea, but it's an outing if people are comfortable with an outing, and not everybody will be for a bunch of reasons. The other piece is to have regular check-ins, maybe quarterly check-ins with the team of visitors. And we're going to talk a little bit later about confidentiality, but this is honoring confidentiality, but just getting together, and if you have questions or you want to share experiences because something's been weighing on you, this is your chance to debrief with the people who are also doing the visiting. And in our church, we're especially for in-person visits, we're going to have people go in pairs, because then it's easy to talk with three people together. It's a little more awkward sometimes with one-on-one, but with three, it's great. And then just every, around the AGM is just to check in with those visitors and see is this still something that you're interested in? So it's not a lifetime commitment. It's maybe year to year that you're going to be visiting people. So this is, like I said, collaborative. It's a great chance to learn from each other. I would love to know what practices other churches have been doing. Maybe we've missed some really obvious, great ways to connect with people who can't get out to church.
This morning at the Grafton Inn, 15 women met, and some don't belong to. I never even met some of the people that were there. And our lay minister, I'm struggling for the term, Janet Warren, did an excellent presentation on oils of the Bible. And had samples, and we all got to smell them, and sat and had coffee, and there was laughter, and it was really lovely. And that's going to be once a month on the second Thursday of the month at 10 o'clock at the Grafton Inn. So if anybody's out there that's interested, we'd love to see you.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Christine.
It's Paul from the same church, Paul Pearson from Westminster United Church.
Sorry about that.
So just, from Westminster, our friendly strategy was born out of COVID, and basically was staying connected with the congregation or the community. And so our strategy so far has been to blanket the community. So we have teams set up that we call them team captains, that stay connected with anywhere from 8 to 12 families or whatever. And so predominantly it's been done over phone calls, sometimes emails, and sometimes direct. So, there are some people that aren't able to come to church, but our challenge has been just staying connected with the community, because the people that are showing up on Sunday are here one week and then the next week they aren't. It keeps changing. So that has worked very well with us. We've done it on a quarterly basis. I say the change we've observed at the beginning of COVID, it was easy to get a hold of people. And now as we get farther along, it's a little more challenging to stay connected. But people appreciate the calls. And that it's just about making sure as a community of faith, we're staying connected.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul. That's excellent.
And Mary Margaret also had a comment.
People think they're already doing a good job at visiting, but nobody knows about it. And I wonder if any other communities of faith are experiencing that. We have a half-time minister, and in making sure that people get phone calls and visits or cards or whatever they can do to help the minister, and just to make sure that people still feel involved in our community of faith is really important. And I just wondered if there's other places out there that are feeling, could they do more? Or how do they do more? How do they encourage others to do more? Thanks.
And now
Thanks, Mary Margaret.
And now Paul Nebo.
I am from Westminster United Church in Whitby as well. We started a friendly visitors program, as we called it, about 10, 12 years ago. I'm about the third or fourth person to coordinate it. But we focused when we started off with people that were not able to come out to church, maybe because they were in long-term care or retirement homes, disabled to the point they weren't able to be mobile enough to come, or just weren't able to for various reasons. And also we added that list of sort of rotating people who were ill, had surgeries, been in and out of hospital, whatever the circumstances. And we relied and worked coordinated with the minister to sort of see who should be on that list. And when they sort of moved on, then of course we rotated those names around. That shut down, of course, with COVID, and we had to go back to phone calls. And as the other Paul mentioned, we had a larger group of phone tree team members that called everybody. And now we're gearing that up again. Now the friendly visitors, we've come up with refocus lists and names, and starting to touch base, not just on the phone, but starting to do personal visits. But it's tough. It's you've really got to feel out where they are, as Darren was saying, and you as well, Wanda, where they want a home visit, where they're comfortable with that. So we've had to kind of meet people where they are and just have a nice phone chat if that's the case, and kind of work our way back in stages. The other thing that's happened at Westminster for a long time, and I think is wonderful, they do something called the Home Alone Luncheon, and once a month, a Wednesday, I think it is, and I work at the church sometimes for a food bank, so I see all these folks coming in. And you can see they really got a bounce in their step, and these are folks not only in the church community, but folks that are friends or people in the community. And they're mostly elderly, but not always. I would say 80% women, because they're widows perhaps, but other scenarios as well. And post-COVID, as we're coming out of it, we found that's been a wonderful tool to, again, reconnect with people. And there's a real energy that's come out of that as well. And with the friendly visitors, we've tried different things, and we're looking for new ideas tonight. But we've also focused on making sure they get Easter flowers, tulips and whatever at Easter, and then cookie bag at Christmas with a Christmas note. So again, another way of connecting with them in a personal way. So sure looking for new ideas this evening.
Thank you. I can see that it looks like a comment, but I can't read it from here.
Mary Beth Wilson says, at Highland Hills United Church in Minden, we have made good use of our telephones throughout the pandemic. Susan Pleasant says the lunch program is called Living Alone Luncheon on the first Wednesday of the month at Westminster United Church, I believe, WUC.
It's a great idea. Some wonderful ideas.